This is Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, mortgage expert with New American Funding. For the next hour, you'll learn impactful insider information as Christian and Dan teach about the ins and outs of Seattle's real estate market. Now, here's Christian and Dan.
Hey. Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope everybody is nice and happy and relaxed after a weekend.
Out Christmas shopping?
Probably. Malls were probably packed.
Most likely not in the office.
No.
You know what? I need to go wrap up my Christmas shopping. I'm always a last minute.
I haven't even started.
Oh my gosh. My wife sent me check this out. My wife sent me a text last night, and it was a screenshot from something that she probably saw on Facebook. And on one side of it, it said, what I need to do before Christmas. And it showed a shopping list for grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, kids, all these people. And it says what my husband has to do. And it just says wife.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty true.
That's all I'm shopping for right now.
That is exactly true.
Yeah, but that's when we're done, when we're out of here, that's where I'm going. So,
yeah, we're pretty good about that stuff.
You need to keep it on the down low because your wife's actually
I know,
in
I
studio.
can't say anything. All those fancy things I'm going to get you. Yeah, right. Oh, no, I probably
Beautiful
won't.
things.
Beautiful things that she's been asking for months that I've been taking notes of. And, I mean, my list is so long. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you just looked up. Good job.
Well, it's good to be back with you, man.
I
It's
know.
It's been a while. I feel like it's been a while, but it
just
hasn't
'cause
really
we were
been.
both on
We've
vacation.
both been on vacation, yeah, relaxing. So you lose track of time. But coincidentally, I think we talked about this on our last show. We were both down in California, the same parts of California, pretty much almost at overlapping times. So
except we missed each other by half a day each time.
Yeah.
So
Disneyland earlier in the week, and then Palm Springs in the latter.
Yep. And unfortunately, my kids were both sick the entire time we were gone. So it was not the most fun. It was still fun.
Yeah.
And it was fun going to Disneyland. My daughter's 4.5, and she's all about the princesses. And she did the whole Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique where she gets dressed up as a princess. They do her hair. They put on some fancy makeup. Yeah. They make her look just like a princess, and then she gets to go get paraded in front of the princesses, and that was a highlight for her for sure.
Yeah, I think Allie's a few years older than your daughter, and so we've been through that.
Yep,
been through
you've
the
been
whole
there, done that.
princess phase. Now she's we got her into enjoying the rides.
Nice.
So she liked all the rides that she was more opposed to a few years ago. Can we go on Splash Mountain again? No, we're not going to wait another 65 minutes in line.
We actually took Avalie on Splash Mountain.
You did?
Yeah, and she loved it.
Nice.
And we went probably about 5 o'clock. 5-minute wait. We literally walked right on. We walked through the line and sat in the boat. We didn't even have to wait at all.
No fast pass, nothing?
Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
I know. We only did it once because we didn't want to get soaked. And it was, at that time, down there, the sun's already setting. Yeah. So it was getting a little chilly.
Shannon liked the rides. Does Shannon really
she's
get
all
into the
about
rides?
them. Yeah.
Jenny
we
loves
both are.
Disneyland. Well, I mean, we talked about, what was it, a little over a month ago, I took my wife on a date to Disneyland.
Yeah, because you were down there presenting that sales mastery.
And she just loves it. So, yeah, we had a good time, man. That's good. Yeah. And they got to catch up on some R&R. We work really hard. I think our listeners, this is not, we don't get paid to be on the radio.
No.
We run successful mortgage practices and real estate practices, and it's not like, and we're running teams, and we're running massive amounts of clients, and so it was good to unplug.
Take a break.
Yeah, you need it. And we always think that December, November are going to be down months.
I know.
Insane.
Absolutely insane.
And I'm not going to complain. The markets are hot. They're warm right now, and normally this is a down time of the year.
Usually it slows down. Usually, and this is what I tell everybody. If you imagine a bell curve, January's at the beginning, December's at the end, the summer's in the middle. Yeah. The summer's usually the peak. It slows down towards the end of the year. Yeah. Picks back up at the beginning of the year slowly. It's not really slowing down.
Nope. And I ran into some friends down in California, and they were asking the same thing. Oh, is this your downtime of the year? And I was like, you know what? No. It's pretty, like I explained the bell curve, and I said right now it's almost a pretty much flat-lined, at a certain amount of volume, it's staying. And
Consistent.
rates are down too. So you still have the trickle, the refis trickling in every once in a while too, combined with a high purchase market right now. So I told them I am not complaining at all. There was, when was it? 2013. It was just that really weird period for about 4 months at the end of 2013, early 2014. And I thought I was going to lose my mind. I went from having, 10, 15 closings to 1 or 2.
Oh, wow.
And then another month, 1 or 2. And it wasn't
I
like,
remember that.
you remember that?
Yeah.
It was inventory dried up. There was no inventory. And then rates actually went from like 4.25 up to like 4.875. So refis kind of dried up. You're in the downtime of the year with no inventory. And I remember having a conversation with my wife going,
Yikes,
what
are
the
we
heck
doing?
is going? Well, we just had an experience. Normally, we have a set amount of just average closings every single month and income. And there wasn't anything to really explain it other than it was just a randomly weird time in the market. So I told our friends down in California, I was like, after that, I'm not complaining. I'll work year round.
My in-laws, they always joke because whenever we go down to visit them or whenever we're on vacation with them, they're like, all right, so how many homes have you sold while we're on vacation?
Yeah.
Did you see that picture that Shannon posted to me?
Yep. Taking a call.
Yeah.
You were negotiating.
That's actually when I got our client that bought in Montlake. Got their deal totally accepted. I'm sitting there and we're at lunch at Ariel's Grotto. And there's princesses all around us. And I'm eating and on the phone, and she's taking a picture, and like Belle's directly behind me, and I'm like, all right, well. And I planned it out actually pretty well. Like I didn't miss anything. It wasn't like I was working the whole time.
It was
just strategically timed conversations.
Well, at their housewarming party, we'll have to show them that picture. Remember when you won that multiple offer situation? Remember how stressed out you guys were? Not only were you guys stressed out, I was on vacation. My daughter was meeting the princesses. My wife's taking a picture of me, and we're sealing the deal. No, exactly. I commented on that because that was on Facebook. I commented on that because right before, I believe it was right before that, the listing agent had called me and says, I'm just calling you. You're the lender. Christian said this. I don't believe how you can close this quickly. And I knew that phone call was you were sealing the deal. So good for you, man. It's the nature of our business.
I know.
I was telling Jenny, there's been times, well, we've been down there numerous times where I've had to take a phone call. Even last time, you take a phone call, you answer the questions, and you just get back to your family. So
exactly. That's the way it works with vacations in this business.
Yep.
It's just the way it is.
It is what it is. But hey, any big plans this coming week?
Catch up.
Yeah.
That's really what we're doing at this point. Catch up and then prep for Christmas. Yeah. Christmas Day, we always have everybody at our house.
Okay.
We still haven't totally figured out what we're going to make yet. So she's shaking her head saying, yes, we did.
Oh, is that prime rib you were supposed to go pick up, dude?
Well, that's what we did a couple years ago, but we just moved and our new oven is teeny.
Yeah.
So we're like, we can't cook anything huge until we redo the kitchen. Yeah. So I think we're going to do spaghetti and meatballs. And she makes some amazing meatballs.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll still be
Well,
really
I was going to
good.
say first Christmas in the new pad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're hosting.
Yep.
Cool.
Christmas Eve, we always hang out at my mom's house, and then we go to, then we do Christmas Day at our house. Everybody comes over in the morning. We open presents, do all that fun stuff. So
Fun.
it's a good time. How do you guys do it? What's your big plans?
Same thing. It's hard. We've got obviously my family and Jenny's family and our family now. So we do a little Christmas Eve. Go to a little church service on Christmas Eve, and then we go to Jenny's mom. Jenny's mom's right after, and then we're hosting Christmas Day, and then Jenny's grandparents are in town, so we're actually hosting, and then we're gonna clean up. We're doing prime rib, same thing, prime rib dinner.
Yep.
And then we're gonna clean up, and then we're gonna head north a few miles and go over to their place.
Oh wow!
And do dessert at their place. So it's crazy. It's the holidays aren't. Everybody thinks that. Well. Sure, we're talking to people that are nodding their heads while they're listening to us. They're not necessarily relaxing.
No. And prepping for it isn't either.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So how do you guys, this is a question I always ask. How long do you keep up your decorations? I mean, you guys are a little different because you put them up so early
Day
too.
after, man. So Jenny's really early. We've been talking about this for a month and a half. Day after. It's Jenny wants them down. She wants them packed and out. So it's, again, day after Christmas.
That's
I'll
funny.
be working for my wife. So But hey, so listen, I want to know, and I know our listeners do, what the heck's going on? What's up with the real estate market? So let's chat about that real quick.
So it is, as I was just saying, I mean, it's still crazy. Inventory's still low, especially this time of year. It's always low, but it's really low. There's just, I mean, it's tough because I'm showing the same house to a few different clients. Thankfully, everybody has a little bit different info of what they're looking for and stuff, but so they don't always fit for everybody, but there's just nothing out there. So the other thing is Amazon just opened up one of their new buildings.
Okay.
So they opened up a building, they call it Doppler, because that was the code name for the, I think their Amazon Echo, their speaker deal that can respond to voice and all that stuff.
Wow.
They just opened that up, and that's the first building of their 4 million square feet of office space that they're opening.
Wow.
Kind of a big deal.
Big deal, yeah.
So they did that, and right next door is their meeting space, which that's a generic name, but that's actually what they're calling it. And that's huge. So they're going to have they can have a stadium seating area, but then when they move the seats back, they have basketball courts that come down. It's kind of cool.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, this is more good news to potentially people that are thinking about selling. And, you know, as I listen to this, and again, I don't sell real estate. I'm on the finance side. But when I talk to friends, when I talk to family, when I just talk to people in general, you know, the question always comes. In the past, they've been hesitant to sell because of equity and because of a lack of inventory. So if they do get an offer on their house, where in the heck are they going to go? So this is just another reason in the Seattle markets to, if you've thought about it, have a conversation with a real estate professional about your value, about the strategy of transitioning you into a new home, because we need inventory. Bad.
We really need inventory. I
There's
mean,
buyers
you put your
out
house
there.
on the market right now, you are going to get numerous offers, as long as you price it correctly, obviously. But you're going to get offers. There's still, even though it's the Christmas season, holiday season, tons of buyers that want to make an offer.
Well, and then they say traditionally in the winter, you're not going to get as much for your home. That's
not
wrong
true.
right now.
That's
wrong.
not true at all.
Yeah, when you have
So
inventory
it's-
issues, that's not the case.
Exactly. So supply and demand is out of whack.
Okay.
So next up, we're going to take a quick break real quick. But next up, we have a pretty cool guest. He is a home security expert. He's been in the business for tons of years. And I'm kind of excited to pick his brain a little bit. So stay tuned. He will be on shortly.
Time for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
All right. Hey, welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio. We are here every Monday talking about real estate, mortgage, and things that you can use, strategies, tactics that you can use to better manage home ownership. Every Monday from 3 to 4. And today, I'm really excited today. We've got another, just
you know
a
what's
number.
funny?
What?
We say this every single
I
time.
know.
But
every
it's
guest.
actually kind of true, though.
Yeah.
We sound cheesy, but it's true. We are actually excited.
We are. I am, because these are things that, I mean, we're learning as we go along. I mean, every time we end up wrapping up the show and we're like, geez.
Yeah,
I just learned
this. XYZ.
So, no, I love it. And we want to pass this off to our listeners and our clients. So I know you're going to give a great introduction. So let's go ahead and introduce.
All right. So today we have Russ Van Deventer. I think I said it correctly. I just asked him, and I still already forgot. So he is an alarm expert. So he's been in the alarm industry in Seattle since 1969. That's 46 years for those that wanted me to do the math for them. He has installed, serviced, and sold alarm systems. In 96, he owned the 13th largest alarm company in the U.S. He also owned the third largest, or what was it? The third largest party alarm system. How do I say that?
It's a third-party monitoring.
Got it. Okay. In Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. So,
He knows his stuff.
He's pretty much the expert of experts.
Of home security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we seeked him out, because we want to do a show on this topic. And I'm glad that we got him on.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is awesome. I was talking with him off air earlier, and I'm just like, holy cow, there's a lot I don't know about our system.
So, and we used to have one at our old house before we moved, and I'm learning now that it probably wasn't the best. So anyway, let's do some basic 101 questions just to kind of build everyone's base knowledge, and then let's go to some more educated and higher up questions after that. So why don't you kind of explain what the different type of security systems are out there?
Security systems are all basically about protecting the home. Probably if I were to say there are a couple different kinds, there's now wireless systems and hardwired systems.
Okay.
And wireless systems are starting to overtake the hardwired systems, primarily because labor costs are so high and electronic costs have gone down.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on record saying that's not me because I'm the one that always gets in trouble for the phone.
That's what happens when we're live on the
I
air.
love it. That's our security guy. So I'm in the clear. Don't punish me, producer.
Let's see. I should probably turn that off.
No, it's all good.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's not every day you're in the studio, so we'll cut you a break.
Yeah.
I'd be getting in trouble by
Dan's always getting in trouble for stuff like that.
Anyway, what's happened in recent years, probably in the last 10 years, is we finally got the wireless devices, so you don't see those little boxes next to the doors and windows. They're all concealed.
Yep.
So we get the aesthetics of hardwired with the convenience of wireless. The other thing that's happened in the construction of homes is it used to be I had an unfinished basement, then I had an attic up above, and nowadays they finish every square inch.
That's how you
so
make the
getting
money.
wires run different places is a lot more difficult than it used to be.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. So typically in a service industry, or in mainly service-related or labor-related industries, if you switch to, in this particular case, wireless from hardwire, it seems like you're cutting some corners, if you will. Is there less protection with wireless, or is there risk with wireless versus hardwire?
Not really. In the early days of wireless, which was, say, in the early 80s and 90s, it used to be kind of like the old garage door openers where all of a sudden your garage door out of nowhere would open up because they used what's called a frequency shift mechanism, and there were like 32 codes for the whole world.
Oh, wow.
And now what they've done with digital signaling, they have pretty good protocols, and instead of having 32 different combinations, they got about 19 million different ones, and they're all kind of random.
Wow.
So they're randomly produced. So I mean, I can't even, you can't even
predict or
you can't even order one.
Got it.
Other ones. So the protection is really the same. I mean, the quality of protection. In some cases, the wireless is a little bit better because in the old hardwired days, we used to maybe wire a couple windows together instead of bringing everything all the way back to the panel. And with wireless, everything has its own zone.
Got it.
Most of the panels now will be hybrid, that you can do both hardwired and wireless. I do a lot of upgrades for older systems. If they already have wired in there and it's working, there's no reason to get rid of that and put in wireless. It's a real problem in the industry now with we call it door knockers or whatever. I just sold my house a couple weeks ago, and I've already received 6 different proposals from ADT, different marketers that and I have a nice hardwired system, but they'll come in and say, "Oh no, that's all crap."
Yeah,
you got to get all new replace stuff. It with something else, and in most cases, what they replace it with won't be as complete as what we're doing now, because the marketing is such that they're not selling you security; they're selling whatever they can give you to let you pay them a nice annuity of $40 a month.
Yeah.
Not that I'm biased.
So if someone is thinking about getting a security system, how do they figure out which one would be good for them?
Well, there's different manufacturers. Different companies use different manufacturers. In the U.S., in the we'll call professional installers, there's 3 main manufacturers. Kind of like in automobiles, you got Ford, Chevy, and Chrysler. In burglar alarms, you've got Honeywell, GE, and then a company called DSC, which is owned by Tyco.
Okay.
And those are kind of the big 3. There's a lot of other manufacturers, but I would say those big 3 probably cover 80% of the market, and probably 90% if you you take the companies that are having stuff privately labeled by those companies.
Got it.
And one isn't necessarily better than the others. I have different ones I use for different applications, particularly if I'm integrating to a hardwired system, because there's some that integrate easier than others. But as far as when you put an alarm system in, if you look at what you're trying to accomplish, the basic reason is I don't want the bad guy coming in and taking my stuff.
Yep.
And that's kind of the rock bottom.
Yep.
Having done this for a number of years, the interesting thing is the burglars haven't changed at all since I got into it. You can write them a script of what they're going to do every time.
Wow.
90% of them come through unlocked doors and windows. So if you just lock your doors and windows, you're ahead of the game.
Wow.
When they get into the house, if they didn't come through a door, the first thing they'll do is they'll open a door. So they can either let other people in, but they're not going to work in and out through a window.
Yeah.
Next thing, they're heading to the master bedroom. They're looking for cash, jewelry, things that are easy for them to move, to
pocket
get
or
rid
whatever.
of.
Yeah.
We're starting to get a little bit more now of iPads, smartphones, tablets, and that type of thing. That they're not stealing for the electronics, they're stealing for the information. So they'll sell them to somebody, see if they can crack into them and do
Get
some
some good
identity
info
theft.
off. Got it. Wow.
But it makes protecting against that successful burglary pretty easy. You do the doors that go outside. We look at where the master bedroom is set up. Most homes or multi-story, your bedrooms will be upstairs, and you usually have one stairwell that's going upstairs.
Yeah.
So put a motion detector in there. If you have pets, you've got to do some compensation to make sure they're not going to trip it.
Yep.
But that's really all you need to do to prevent the successful burglary. But that's not really the bar that you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
Because what you're really selling is peace of mind.
Yep.
And whereas what the burglars do is very objective, peace of mind is really subjective. If you've been burglarized before, you may want to do some more stuff.
Yep.
If you're using the alarm for some personal protection, then probably you're going to do more windows and perimeter type devices, because if you're using the alarm in your home, you don't want to be prevented from moving around yourself.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
If you're going to have some form of monitoring or notification, I will usually try to put in one or two smoke detectors that tie into the monitoring. The smoke detectors you have in your house will do just fine for when you're there. But people that have pets and things like that, the pets can't necessarily get out if something were to happen when you weren't there.
Yep.
Plus, you get quick response. Fire department, and there's not false alarm issues with
them.
fire alarms.
Yeah.
They're pretty stable. They're not too
Police,
complex.
a little different story. Completely different story. We'll
Well,
get over that in a second. But yeah, fire alarms. Okay, that makes sense. So have that possibly tied in with your security system.
Right.
So I have a real quick question. You mentioned strategy. Burglars haven't really changed their strategy. 90% come through an unlocked door or window. Let's say windows are locked, doors are locked. Where are they coming in? What avenue are they using to get into the house?
Well, they'll usually come in down low.
Okay.
They'll usually go to the back of the house, because if the street front traffic going by, they're not going to have that, type of avenue. The ones I see the most often that they're actually going to break in is they'll come in through a basement. Okay. A lot of times you kind of have a half daylight basement. They can sit on the ground and kick the window out.
Yep.
Usually, we never see them come through a broken window.
Okay.
They kick the window open to unlatch it.
Got it.
Particularly now with double insulated windows, you got to pick out a lot of glass
Yeah.
to make sure you don't get cut.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of the refinishing that's done, where people are doing remodeling on their homes, they'll take a basement and then they'll put a bedroom down there.
Yeah.
And according to code, you have to put an egress window in. That's a larger type window that people get in and out. And so
So
we
you usually
see
got a
more-
window well with a big window.
Right. And so we see more of that, because when they get down into the window well, now they can break the glass and it isn't going to be heard.
Yep.
But still a predominant amount of them come through windows that are even left open. Sometimes we'll put protection on windows, not because we're worried about someone breaking in. We're worried about you're going to leave the house and leave it open. And when you go to
Especially in the
you go to turn on
summertime,
the alarm and it says, "Hey, the window's open."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the summertime, when people, we're Seattle. Not everybody has a heat pump or anything like that, or AC. I'm guessing that's probably a high amount of people leaving their window open.
Yeah, usually what we'll do for there is if it's a sliding window or a single hung window that slides up and down, you can put a switch on there with a couple different settings so that you can have some of the window open, but not enough for someone to get in.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with Russ, and he is the Alarm Professor. We'll be right back. Stick with.
You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. We are back with the Alarm Professor, Russ Van Devant. I can't say your name, man. I am so sorry.
Van Devanter, Van Deventer.
You could say it a bunch of different ways, apparently. So Russ is an expert on alarms, as you just heard in the first segment. He knows his stuff. He's been doing it 46 years. We got a ton more questions. So let's get right into it.
Well, you know what I love about what he just said, Christian, is over 46 years in the home security industry, burglars haven't changed their strategies.
At all.
At all.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I want to pause real quick because I want every person that's listening to our show or listening to this on playback. This is a great example why you and I, when we had an opportunity to come on air, we took advantage of the opportunity. Because here's the thing. You built your real estate practice off of educating people in the Seattle market on, getting a deal in the Seattle marketplace when deals were to be had in
2010,
in the early,
2011.
Yeah. I built my business writing a mortgage blog and doing videos. We built both of our businesses off of educating and talking to Russ.
That's exactly what
what's
he's
the
doing.
name of his alarmprofessor.com? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I want to encourage all of our listeners and our viewers to go there and leverage his website for information. But we were just talking over the break. This is awesome because what he's doing is he's educating you as a homeowner or a potential homeowner on how to keep your home safe.
Yep.
And
everybody wants that.
Everybody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get broken in.
No.
My wife and I, when we got our detached garage broken into and had a lot of items stolen. It wasn't the fact that we had things stolen. It was the fact that somebody was on our property and violated
your space.
Our space.
Yep.
And so, this is huge, Russ. So, we got a lot to talk about here in the next 10 to 12 minutes. But, I think one of the things that I wanted to ask you, a lot of people obviously come to you for your services and for your advice. What is the most common issue or question that you get asked on a daily basis?
On my Alarm Professor site, I get about 2,000 hits a week, and 40% of those are people wanting to know how to get out of their alarm monitoring contract.
Wow.
And
so you're telling me it's somewhat of a scam?
Well, if you've done it, I recently updated my phone.
Yeah.
And I went in, got the new phone, and they're going through, and they gave me an iPad. It's kind of like a 3-card Monty when they're doing all this stuff. And I'm looking down, and they had signed me up for an alarm system from AT&T.
Wow.
AT&T Digital Life, $39 a month. And I go, what's this?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, that's an alarm system. So I got an alarm system. I don't want that. Oh, okay, well, I'll take it out then. And, when your cable company comes to hook up your cable, the next thing you know, you got an alarm system.
Yep.
It's just, it's crazy because the people that are selling them, it's a commodity. It's another SKU.
It's an upsell, yeah.
Wow. And so they do that, but they don't send anybody out to look at your house. They don't talk to you about what you want. If you've never had an alarm system and you say, well, this is a big company, they must know what they're doing. I see their ads everywhere.
Yeah, well, maybe because they spend $100 million a month on advertising.
Yeah, well, one of the larger companies spends over $100 million a month buying contracts to replace what they've lost through natural attrition.
Wow.
I mean, in alarm monitoring, the churn rate is about anywhere from 6 to 12% a year. People move. People get disgruntled. For the smaller companies, it's not quite that bad because they do better service. You have a better relationship because number one, the smaller companies are selling security, not annuities.
Yeah,
and each customer means more
Yeah.
to the alarm company.
Well, what I don't like is a lot of companies in different industries, but specifically the home security systems industries, it sounds like they're selling a service based off of instilling fear in their clients. Because in talking with you, it's not necessarily there is a strategy that goes into home security, right? I mean, you just told us, before we went to break,
90% of the break-ins. What are they
yeah.
doing?
So build an alarm system around stats versus selling you on this hype that you're going to get broken into. We're going to be here on the spot. And there's like you were just saying, there's a police officer at the end of the road ready to respond. Hogwash.
Yeah.
In Seattle.
Yeah.
What were you saying? What's the turn times for law enforcement?
Well, we measure in hours rather than in minutes in Seattle.
Wow.
And how long is it now?
Well, it's the priority of response in Seattle is what they call a code 4. It used to be code 2, where we used to get 5 to 15 minute response time was right after holdups and injury car accidents. Now it's a code 4, which we're not really sure what that is, except that it's long time.
Wow.
And I had one incident where a woman was pretty upset at me because she got called home at 2:00 in the afternoon because her alarm had tripped and her door had blown open, and she went back to work, came back home, and they were sitting having dinner at 7:00 when there was a knock on the door, and it was the police responding to the alarm.
Oh my gosh! So 5 hours later, they finally show up.
And the reality of it is, it's not the police's problem. It's a logistics problem. There are too many alarms that are tripped that they don't necessitate police response.
So
When the
crying wolf theory.
Well, but when the alarm trips, the bad guys are gone. And so the police can perform an investigatory thing after the fact, dust for prints, do that type of thing. But they're not going to catch the guys. The idea of putting in the alarm is you're going to scare the guys out. The idea of monitoring or some form of notification is letting somebody know that something happened. The alarm did the work of getting that guy out of there.
Hopefully.
So I want to talk about strategy surrounding that. But before we do it, I want our listeners to understand that, and I want you to answer this versus me just saying this. But from what I'm hearing you say, you're going to have some of these top companies, these bigger national companies, maybe call you, and one of their sales pitches may be that, hey, we have a quicker response time with the police. That's a myth, correct? No?
Yeah, what you'll see some of the advertisers say, we respond in this amount of time, and it's true. They make the call, but they're not the ones responding.
Got it.
So
in the big picture, it's irrelevant.
The three things that they're selling on is, one is, hey, free alarm system. There's no free alarm system.
Well, it's free because they're installing the actual electronics.
Well, what they've done is they've spent the last 20 years convincing people that alarms are cheap and monitoring is really expensive. And just the opposite is true. One of the larger companies has, I think, 6.7 million customers.
Wow.
Their average rate for their monitoring is anywhere from $35 to $60 a month.
Wow.
And if it costs them $2 a month to provide that service, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens is
knowing that you owned a large call center.
Yeah, I mean,
you're the one that would be an expert on that cost.
And,
so
and what happens is when you're dealing against small companies, so a company like mine, a larger company, cable company, phone company, whatever, their numbers are such that, okay, I'm going to sell this contract, and it's going to be 36 to 60 months. My break even is 24 months. So I'm a small guy. My break even is Friday. So what we end up doing is we end up putting the alarm system in, and people pay for the alarm system. But if I take a look at what they're paying over 5 years, it might be that the difference in the total cost might be $500 or $600 on the upfront.
Yeah.
So what I tell people is, say, if you could put $600 in the bank and pay and get a $25 a month return on that, would you do that?
Yeah.
Now, what happens with a lot of people that have a problem, they like that free alarm because they get in and they pay the monthly, and if they can't afford that monthly, so I'm going to get rid of it. And that's why I get all these calls, because people move or something like this. Like, excuse me, you owe us. If you leave that house, you're going to pay out the end of the contract.
Yep.
You know, and that was the question I was going to ask, is that when people do sell their home, what do they do with their service contract? What generally happens?
Well, when you buy a home, and I'm sure you guys know, you don't have any overhanging contracts. Mm-hmm. They have to either buy it out or talk the new owner
into taking over it.
And most time the new owners say, oh, God, I've already got an alarm system here.
I don't need it.
You know, what do I need? And I mean, I do a lot of work for people that move into a house that has an alarm system. You know, it's beeping when the doors open and close, and they'll call up company. The company comes out and says, oh, that's crap. We got to put in new stuff. Yeah. And they'll call me up, and I come in and I say, okay. And it takes me 10 minutes, and I've got it working for them. Yeah. They say, you know, you don't need to buy an alarm. You're wearing the ruby slippers. Yep. You just need to know how to click your heels together.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So here's the thing. I'm going to summarize this. 90% of burglars come through unlocked doors and windows. If they can't get through unlocked doors and windows, they're busting a window, typically on the side or the back of the house, on the basement or down low. Okay. Once they do that, they're going to go and open and unlock, and they're going to go open a door for easy access, unlock a door for easy access in and out. And then they're going to head directly to the master bedroom to start doing some damage. So, strategy. Talking strategy. Talk to us about what you were telling us about, okay, you know, a security system can get you so far. Talk to me about the block watch strategy.
Well, what we do with block watch, it's a form of monitoring or notification. So instead of sending it to the alarm signal to a professional central station that in turn is going to call the police, it goes up to a website, and you can control where that signal is sent. And we can go up to 6 voice calls, text messages, emails, and we can even divide it up into different lists for different type of signals. In my house, I get a signal every time the alarm's turned on and off. I have it when it's my cleaning people. It texts me. I know when they come. I know when they left. If I have somebody doing work, I don't send my own to me, although it's available there on the website. Yeah. If you have latchkey kids and you want to know when they come and go, you can do that too.
Got it. Well, this is huge. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to kind of recap this when we come back from our break. But before we leave, I want to get your contact information out there. If you're listening right now, look up Russ right now. You're going to go to, there's a couple of different places, blockwatchalarm.com. So blockwatchalarm.com. And what I like is the alarmprofessor.com. So those are two of the sites that you have access to right now. I want you to look this guy up on Yelp. This was a phenomenal interview today. I love it. We're going to come back with more information on Russ. But in the meantime, we got to take a break real quick. And stay tuned, because we've got a great rest of the show ahead of you.
Time for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. So, as you just heard...
Wow.
Yeah. Russ knows his stuff when it comes to alarms. He's been doing it 46 years. That's a long time. Well, he knows a lot of info. Yeah. And he runs his business similar to us, like you said on the air. Yeah. I mean, he's all about education, which is the point of our radio show as well. And because of that, he's not a very good, or maybe he doesn't like to, or not comfortable with selling. But we are. Well, maybe we're not. But we want to promote him. And we didn't even go over what his actual company is. The reason that we wanted him on, well, part of the reason. And that is, he has this, if you remember from the beginning when I introed him, he's owned and installed companies, or he owned the 13 largest alarm company in the U.S. He knows his stuff. He has switched his whole entire model, and now his business is called Blockwatch. And what Blockwatch does is it's a different take on alarms. Instead of your door alarm going off and ADT getting the phone call in their call center in the Philippines or wherever it is.
Sure.
And then they call Seattle Police Department or whatever. His is basically a phone, email, and text message that goes to your neighbors who are probably going to be at home or someone might be home. And they can take their phone out and snap a picture, call 911, and go that route.
Yeah.
You're going to get a much faster response that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it was eye-opening. Well, again, one of the reasons why we bring guests like Russ onto the show, it was eye-opening the fact that there's a strategy that goes into home security. But when you talk to an expert, especially somebody that's been around for 46 years in that industry, I can only imagine how great I will be.
Yeah, exactly.
After 46 years in
going
finance.
back to Bob.
Yeah.
Bob's been in the same amount of time.
That's
46
called wisdom.
Years.
There's wisdom there. And so what I want our listeners to know and to learn and to hear is that this guy, he comes from a direction of education. And then this whole this block watch idea is genius.
Yeah.
I was going to, and actually I'm going to post this on Facebook today. How neat would it be that if you had an alarm system and if your alarm was triggered, right when you're triggered, your neighbors, which you identify who they would be, get a text message or an email letting them know.
Or a phone call.
Or a phone call. And it's an alert. I'm going to look out and it's not like they got to come to your door.
No,
I'm going to look out the window.
They're not going Rambo. They're not going crazy and trying to save the day.
Yeah.
You're simply asking them, look out your window.
Does anything look weird?
Yep.
Okay. And I just think it's genius. I think what he brought to our viewers and our listeners today is just fantastic. More value, shares the same approach to business that we do.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man, when you bring value and when you educate people, you don't have – nobody wants to work with a pitchy salesperson.
Nope.
And so when you give value and you educate, there you go.
Yeah.
You either are going to buy this, you want this, or you don't.
Yeah. Either it fits what you're looking for or it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that.
Yeah. So I want to give some information out to our viewers on how to reach Russ. I want to read this. So this is huge. This is something that we really want our viewers to learn. So whether you have an alarm system or you're looking to get one, BlockWatch, this is his program, BlockWatch can monitor your home or your business. And that's the other thing, Christian, we didn't even get to talk about. It's not just residential. It's for commercial as well.
Yeah.
This is huge.
I know.
BlockWatch delivers that monitoring service that can be affordable and reliable by putting the control back into your hands. Every time your alarm goes off, BlockWatch notifies your selected community with app notifications where everyone can chat to discuss that event.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. If needed, the hit can then go to 911 to report the burglary and process, connecting you to a local dispatch operator as soon as possible.
Yeah, and like he was saying, remember how back 10 years ago in Seattle, if your alarm went off, you were an F2 call, which was right below, I think he said homicide and car accidents or something like that. What was it? Hold-ups, sorry, not homicide. Yeah. That'd be a little more important, I would think. Yeah. But that would be like a 5 to 15 minute response time.
Yeah.
Now you're an F4, which no one even knows what that means.
Yeah.
And they're coming maybe 5 hours later.
That's crazy.
They're not hustling in their car.
Even
to
5
get-
minutes later, the burglars are
They're gone at that point.
Yeah.
So this is instant. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is great. So BlockWatch knows the police have more important things to do with their time, and that's why they go on the call when 98% of the time there is no crime, and it just mounts into paperwork and fines for you. So BlockWatch layers traditional monitoring with social layering, which is relevant, which is current, empowering them to report real crime in progress, saving the city, the police, and consumers, customers time and money while you stay in the loop the entire process. So if you're worried about your pets in the case of a fire, no problem. BlockWatch directly dispatches the fire department after checking with you first. So that's also really neat, Christian. They sync in with your carbon monoxide and your fire detectors. It's huge.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people have pets. And today, some people, their children, their pets are their children. They don't have children.
Yeah, it's a family member.
This is huge.
Yeah.
So, and of course, always a low monthly fee with no terms, long-term terms or contracts. BlockWatch only offers month-to-month agreements and superior customer service. Again, that's why we brought him in. We're not going to bring somebody in that may not be a good fit with our clients in regards to contracts and service. So call BlockWatch Alarm today, and I'm going to give you his number, and we've already, in his contact information's on the websites we've given, but 855-952 5625. I'm going to say it again, 855-952-5625. Again, blockwatchalarm.com. So blockwatchalarm.com is the service, so you can learn more about that service. But for information...
Just to learn about the alarm industry...
Yeah.
alarmprofessor.com. Yeah. So one thing that he was telling me off air was basically how big of a joke these big companies are now, like ADT and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are charging like $60 a month, $40 to $60 a month.
Yeah.
I think his service, I looked at his website, and I think it's like $20 or $25 a month.
Yeah. And then
no contract.
Yeah, no contracts and all the advice that comes with it. So,
all right. Yep. So, Dan, we got to get off that because some big stuff's gone down in the mortgage land.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
Well, not just in the mortgage land. We're talking the federal. Now, we've been talking about this for a month or so.
Yep.
But Janet Yellen, so Fed chairwoman, has come out, and the first time in 9 years, Christian, the federal funds rate has been increased. Okay, so they cut it and they cut it and they cut it around approximately 4 years ago, and you have to understand the Fed funds rate controls short-term money like auto loans, like HELOCs, like credit cards. And what I didn't even really think about this too much. I always knew this, but also the Fed funds rate affects our money market accounts, our short-term investment accounts as well. So there is a positive and there's a negative effect of what just happened. So here's the big myth. You're a real estate professional. You're connected to a lot of real estate professionals and lenders online, social media. This ticks me off. Over the last week, I've seen a lot of real estate agents and lenders building up the hype that the Fed funds rate's going up, so rates are going up. And it's just stupidity. It's much like Russ, who we just had, sharing the facts, the real facts, the true facts, and information. We're going to educate our consumers. So here's the thing. The Fed funds rate has nothing to do with mortgage, 30-year fixed-rate mortgages. 30-year fixed-rate mortgages are attached to the Treasury and mortgage or, depending on which belief you have, mortgage-backed securities. So I went out on record the day before, so Tuesday, the day before, I went out on YouTube and I went out on social media and I did a video and I dispelled that myth and I said, you know what, here's my opinion. The Fed is going to raise the Fed funds rate tomorrow. She's come out on record and said she's going to do it. She did it. And what I also said is it's highly doubtful that mortgage interest rates are going to do anything. They actually went down.
Oh my gosh.
Slightly.
Slight amount,
a hair.
Yeah, but still.
They actually went down on Wednesday. So it's, again,
instead of selling fear, which so many do.
And hype. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so that happened this week. It was this last week. It was really, and since then, I mean, we've had 3 trading days since Wednesday, and rates are trending nicely. They're not up, they're down. So I tell everybody just professionally what happened is, it was baked into the rate. The Fed making this move has been baked into the rate for the last 3 months.
We all knew it was coming. We just didn't know when.
Yeah. And it's going to happen 2 to 3, maybe 4 more times this year. So
well, and they only went up a quarter point when they thought, a lot of people thought it was going a half a point.
And it will. By the end of the year, it'll probably be up over a point. So
all right. Well, tune in next Monday at 3 to hear more about this, as well as a bunch of other great info. 3 o'clock, KKOL, 1300 AM.
Yep.
We are here every Monday.
I'll be
3
here.
to 4 o'clock. I will too.
See you later.
Thank you.
To contact the show or for more information, visit SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. That's SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. And be sure to tune in again next Monday at 3 for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, mortgage expert with New American Funding, right here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL.